All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s coming back this summer, early summer for season 6. And I realized that when I'm trying to figure out what to watch, it's very hard because I want to review everything that I watch. And then I finally when I was looking for something to watch that I wouldn't have to review, I stumbled on this and realized I need to review this for my channel. Not just because of the season that's coming up, but because this is something that I can talk about and rewatch, because I haven't seen it since like most of these episodes first aired. The first season I think I've seen twice, so this would be my third run through of season 1, but all the other seasons I've only seen those episodes once each. And it's time for me to go back and rewatch and review Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. building up to season 6, its premiere. And I'm actually really excited about this. I can't believe I didn't think about this before. I mean, we got 5 seasons, we got 100 and some odd episodes. This is gonna be crazy. This is a commitment. If some okay, so like, you know, this isn't like Happy where I can flake out. I think if I decide not to get, you know, as long as you're not too far in. This would be even worse if you're too far in and you decided not to do it anymore. But it's a commitment I'm making. We're going to do this. We're starting with the episode 1, the pilot episode. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 1, episode 1, pilot, full spoilers if you haven't seen this episode. So I've been excited about this. I was excited about this immediately. And the fact that the only thing that it kind of sucked was that how it kind of already ruined the fate of Phil Coulson. You know, that he had died sacrificing himself, and even though they're coming back with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's like, it's cool that he's coming back, but it kind of also feels like, oh man, you know, like they kind of undercut it a little bit in a way, but not something that you need to dwell on. Not something you should be banging your head against the wall going, why did they bring back Phil? I think it kills the drama a little bit in Avengers with him coming back, but that's water under the bridge because I'm glad that he came back. But it just makes me wonder, with Cobie Smulders being a seasoned television actress and not really a movie actress at the time of the Avengers coming out. In fact, How I Met Your Mother, it was still on, right? So I just feel like maybe that was why she couldn't be in this show. But I just feel like initially, okay, on paper, with Phil Coulson being dead in the Avengers, it would make sense to me that Maria Hill, played by Cobie Smulders, a seasoned television actress, wouldn't be the head person on this show. Like Maria Hill's agent, you know, her being the deputy director of S.H.I.E.L.D. This would be perfect. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with Maria Hill. And Maria Hill is a very hands-on and very interesting character. And it would have been one of the first times that like a female lead would be, you know, like the cop lead. You know, it would already have given Marvel, if they wouldn't have, you know, they wouldn't be able to say it's the first female-driven superhero movie, but they could have said, you know, it's one of those few superhero-driven shows that are starring a woman. But that's, again, water under the bridge. These are all things that I thought back then. Sometimes I still wonder now, but I mean, you can't, you know, second guess it. It's not like they're going to all of a sudden reboot it after, you know, 6 seasons deep. And it almost sounds like I'm not happy with Phil Coulson coming back. I really, really am. I love Clark Gregg. Every time I see Jurassic Park, I look forward to his scene with Nedry as Dodson, you know, as the guy that gave Nedry the little shaving can to get the dino DNA. And just, you know, Clark Gregg is such a great, interesting actor. If anybody doesn't know this already, he directed the movie Choke, which is based on a Chuck Palahniuk book. Only 2 Chuck Palahniuk books have been adapted into movies, I believe. I'm pretty sure that it's just the 2, and that's Fight Club and Choke. And Clark Gregg had the balls to make that book, Choke, into a movie with Sam Rockwell and, oh God, I'm drawing a blank now, with the girl from Brave. And No Country for Old Men, and Angelica Houston. It's a fantastic. Anyway, I really like Clark Gregg is what I'm saying. And so when he was cast as Phil Coulson and everything, and I've just been enjoying his performance all the way through the show. And he's even better here. Like his introduction in this episode is just, I remember this being like so cool back in the, in 2013, where he just comes out of the dark and, says something cliche and then says something hilariously uncliche right after that. Like he couldn't help himself coming out of the dark to say that he's there is the cliche, and then he flips it and talks about, I couldn't resist it, I think he got a bulb out. He gets lines like that throughout this entire episode. I love seeing the everyman get the starring role. The guy who is unassuming. You'd think that this show the star would be Ward on a lot of shows, the big super spy. And instead they give it to the guy that's really interesting. And I dig that. So this first scene that we get in this episode also brings back J. August Richards to the Whedonverse, or the Whedon Marvel Universe or whatever. In this scene where he plays Mike Peterson, who's about to, like I said, spoilers, it will be becoming Deathlock in the future. He saves a woman from this exploding building. The first thing I thought of when he was standing there when the building blew up was that Gunn from Angel was there in London when the Watchers Council blew up. If you know what I'm talking about, you have my respect if you know what I'm talking about, if you get that. That's like I don't know what percent of people are going to get that reference, but that was the first thing I thought of, because the way it looked like the exact same explosion, and it just looked like, hey, Gunn's there. That's crazy. But it's nice to see him in something. That guy does not get enough work. J. August Richards does not get enough work. He should be in. They bring Deathlock into the Marvel Universe, man. This guy is good. But we're also introduced to Chloe Bennet, her Sky character. Chloe Bennet is a very beautiful girl, and I really love her exuberance in this episode. This is going to be interesting reviewing this, because early on I had kind of a love-hate relationship with Chloe Bennet on this show. But in the first episode, I love that she's there's a lot of exposition dumps happening in this episode. One is from Maria Hill explaining to the audience, everything that's been going on with Heroes and all that. So just in case Grandma turned on the TV and found Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., she might understand what's going on. So they give her that. And then Chloe Bennett's basically the person talking about street level stuff and how the people feel about Heroes, and kind of like the conscience of, like a narrator from like Ben Urich from Daredevil and stuff, that kind of character. Who's reporting on the nefarious deeds of this place, this agency called S.H.I.E.L.D. that's hiding things from you and everything. And in ways, she's, some of it is right, but I mean, they don't know the whole story. It's kind of like the Men in Black, except everybody knows about S.H.I.E.L.D. Not everybody knows about Men in Black. But we're crossing genres, so let's crossing shows. So let's not get too far into that. Well, she's trying to help Mike. He's really desperate because he's got basically, I kept saying that's Extremis. Again, I forgot about a lot of this. So yeah, I like that they referenced Iron Man 3's Extremis in here, because I kept going, I think that's Extremis shit they're talking about. And it was really cool, like how they kind of weave that in subtly, not forcing it. You know what I mean? Because they bring up other things like gamma and super soldier serums and things like that as well, but none of it feels like they're just jamming it down our throat, like going, "You're in the Marvel Universe, asshole! Remember?" Yeah, that's very subtle writing, and I really like how it feels natural for the most part. So that's what's going on with them. People are after Mike because of what's in him. Chloe Bennett's Sky is trying to protect him. In the meantime, we meet Ward, which that action scene in the beginning of this episode is really, really good, and it was really entertaining. And I remember the first time I watched it, when I was watching this, I remember being like, holy shit. Like, when he takes the blender and busts it over dude's head, I was like, wow, okay, that's what we're going to be like? All right, let's do this. And so I do like Ward, like right at the beginning. Like, I thought I was going to hate this pretty boy. I really did. I was just like, oh, forget this guy. And then it was pretty cool, and he was charismatic and funny, and he unsure of himself, even though he's completely sure of himself. It's especially when he gets injected with the truth serum later. He gets some funny stuff there. And I'd never really heard of Brett Dalton before this show. I know he's in that game Until Dawn, which is fucking hilarious. His character in that game is so laughable. It is so cliche. It is in the greatest possible way. But anyway, so Ward's here. Then we get Kobe Smulders, telling Coulson and Ron Glass, the late great Ron Glass from Firefly, another Whedon show, is in the beginning, questioning whether Coulson should be, doing what he's doing, and his team is kind of screwy. But this is where we get to May, who's working in a clerk's office, filing papers and stuff, which, yeah, it seems so unnatural. I don't know if they'd even allow her to, do what she's doing. She just does not see. She just looks like she hates it so much there. Why wouldn't she just retire? But whatever. But Ming-Na Wen's May character, who is, again, just so fucking phenomenal. She's such a great actress and so athletic at her age. It is amazing. She does not look like her age. She does not act like her age. She is, Ming-Na Wen is très magnifique. I don't even know what the hell I just said. But getting her back on, luring her onto the bus, the red tape comment, this is where they make the red tape, right? I think this is where they make the red tape. That's great. Then we meet Fitz and Simmons, played by Elizabeth Henstridge and Andy Kestecker. I don't know if I said his last name right. He was from Overlord that was just out. Another connection to Overlord, which is a fantastic movie that everyone should see. I just had a contest on my channel for giving away a Blu-ray of Overlord, so it's kind of on my mind still. But Ian Kestecker and Elizabeth Henstridge as Fitz and Simmons, respectively, are great right from jump. Their chemistry is fantastic. Everything about it is just when you meet characters like this, it is like slipping into a warm, comfortable, bath. Where you're just yes, this is just right. Fitz and Simmons are just just right away. I have no idea why I mentioned a bath. What the fuck? I'm trying to talk about easing into something, I don't know, that feels right. Oh boy. And I still probably got about 10 minutes worth of stuff to say. Let's try to stay calm here. All right, so anyway, we get the team together, we get on the bus, we get the big music and everything. And I kept thinking a little bit that this is kind of like a show made by a committee, but it's not. It's just, it feels so corporate a little bit that there was that scene where he's rolling up into the airplane. It just, for some reason, I was just man, I don't know. I love this show and all, but it just feels corporate. And I don't know what that even, why I'm bringing it up or why it affects, because it doesn't affect how I watch the show, really. It just, I don't know. It just makes me feel like this show's all, I don't know. Let's not dive too deep into that either. So, all right, so we are on the case trying to find Mike Peterson. The whole speech that Skye gives and is perfect when they just open the door on her. They roll out all this just to find a girl in a van, which is kind of funny. I wish that they had mentioned that at some point in the episode. They're we did all this just to roll up on a van in an alley. We could have done this with a couple of black and whites. But then we get them, investigating the crime scene, May and Fitz and Simmons, and they get the Seven Dwarves, and that's pretty cool. But then Mike finds Skye, who then gets taken hostage. Like I said, there's that funny scene where, Coulson sticks Ward with the truth serum. And that's pretty funny, but that was really about it. I thought there was going to be more to it. I guess it's just to show the unexpected ways that Coulson does things. But anyway, to get basically back to the end of this episode, Mike takes Skye hostage, and we get this kind of, me against the world or the world against me. This is also where they figure out the technology and that it was Extremis that's doing all this. It's a different experiment than the one that they were doing, but it shows that in Iron Man 3, but it shows that they haven't given up, which means who's got that power? Like, who's the one experimenting with that if the extremist people are all dead? Which would be Aldrich Killian and his goons. So who's got that technology? And for the life of me, I can't remember right now. Just that these people were part of a centipede program. So J. August Richards gives a great speech, and Coulson finally talks him down just as he gets shot in the head. And I remember the first initial thought was, they just shot him in the head. Like, I was ready to stand up and cheer, and not because they killed a guy that didn't deserve to die, but because it just made the show had balls. Like, they were having this powerful moment, and somebody just takes him out in the middle of that moment. But no, it just as fine is he's shot with the night-night gun, which was foreshadowed earlier in the episode, but I always take it like when somebody does something dark or something unexpected, you expect him to live. You expect them to talk it out, because that's how most procedurals are. And this is bordering on procedural at times, and that's why I'm surprised that I like it. But just the writing in the cast and the connections to the Marvel Universe in the bigger world is what keeps me with this show. But no, he was just hit in the head with their night-night gun, and now they're off to go find a 408. You know, so she's about to join the team, Lola. Maybe he's got Lucille in the trunk with Negan or something. But anyway, that's really about it. You know, they're going to get help for Mike and all that stuff. And we got the beginnings of our show. And I'm really happy that I did this. I think that for the most part, I'm able to be on track with most of it. For those of you who don't, if this is your first time to the channel, yeah, I'm all improvised, so sometimes I'm jumping all over the place. But anyway, that's it. If you like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews, though, if you want another person to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews on, go to D's Reviews over at his channel. It's called D's Reviews, Darren Jake's channel. He covers Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s like last few seasons. He's been doing that show, so if you want to check on his channel, he's got a lot of that stuff. Otherwise, if you liked this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. We are doing the best of Game of Thrones episodes. I will probably be reviewing the pilot episode of Game of Thrones like probably tomorrow or the next day. I will be continuing, though, every day, basically, to be doing at least one of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews until we get all caught up. Because that's like, 22 times 5? That's a lot of episodes. So, like 112 or something like that. I don't know. But, or 108. I can't remember. Anyway, this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying thanks for all the support. I hope you liked this video. And have a great day.